episode 118. We're getting started with a live recording of today's episode of Client by Client, which will be later on in this month. So later on this month's episode of Client by Client, here in a little less than 1 minute. If this is your first time here, drop me a number 1. For all my first-time offenders, for all my repeat offenders, drop me some sunlight emojis. It's sunny here today here in Arizona, so drop me some sunlight, some sunshine emojis. Hope this finds you well. On yesterday's episode, or today's episode of the podcast over in Apple Podcasts and Spotify, track your client's success with his easy method. I essentially break down exactly what I do to how I track, measure, and maintain my clients' results. And I break it down so that you can just start using it in your online business. This is one of the easiest ways you have at your disposal for creating lifelong clients and to making your role in growing your business and not having to constantly be in the hunt for new clients even easier. So be sure to head back 1 episode or to go to the podcast pod.link/clients or to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your favorite podcast player so you can tune in and listen to that. That said, let's hop in. Let's get this show on the road. Hey, what's up? Jeremy here from whatupjeremy.com, back with another episode of Client by Client. Thank you so much for tuning in. In the last episode of Client by Client, we talked about optimizing and upgrading, putting your offer on steroids, what to do for your coaching packages, for your digital services, and for your online courses, your memberships, whatever it is you're currently offering. What you can do right now to upgrade it, to make it more elusive, more interesting, and increase the likelihood that your prospects are wanting to buy it, are thinking about buying it, and actually decide to buy it. There are 5 things specifically that you can do to your offer right now that cost you absolutely no money that will make your offers far more juicy. So be sure to head back to episode 118 to understand how to optimize your offer, your services, and your coaching programs. In today's episode, I want to talk about a subject that's not often talked about, a subject that can keep you stuck without you even knowing why. I want to talk about how to avoid looking try hard. You see, in today's day and age, in this social media, online, curated reality, perception is reality. And so I am not an advocate right out the gate for you needing to be perfect or to come off as perfect. I'm not an advocate for you needing to be anyone other than who you are, authentically yourself. What I am for is for you putting your best foot forward, for always finding a way to improve yourself with the areas of your life and your personality that you feel you have an opportunity for, or maybe that you're getting feedback for and on. And I am an advocate for constant growth. And so on today's episode, I want to talk about how to avoid looking try hard. Let's start by talking about what happens if you don't get today's episode right. The first thing that happens is that you turn off your prospects. And that's frustrating because some of these prospects are potentially high quality clients, dream clients that you would love to work with. And those sort of people are never going to take the time out in their day to tell you why they didn't join, nor will they have it in their heart to tell you they're not joining because of how you're coming off and because of how other people are looking at you and other things they've heard about you or other feelings they're feeling about you or they're observing in other people about you and your reputation in your online business. That's the first thing. The second thing that happens is that getting joint ventures, guest podcasts, and other opportunities like speaking, like co-authoring, and other business ventures is near impossible. And that's frustrating because that's the way you get exponential growth, is by having the right reputation and being afforded or being able to make opportunities happen where you're able to not take baby steps or steps, but you're able to jump leaps and bounds. And that only happens by collaborating with other people, by being the sort of person that other people want to collaborate, by your brand value rubbing off on someone else's and making their brand value better and more improved. No one will work with you or with me or anyone else if your shine is not more than theirs, or if your shine or lack thereof will hurt theirs. Now we know what happens if you don't get today's episode right and why this is so important. Let's hop in and talk about 3 things to have on your radar to avoid coming off as and looking and being quote unquote try hard. When you think about just the idea of being try hard, when someone is trying hard, you come off as desperate. And I know no one here intends on doing that, and you and I have never intended as coming off as desperate, but we probably have, and we were probably unaware of it until far later on. And that's why I'm making today's episode, is for the one or two of you listening that might need this right now, is coming off as desperate or quote unquote try hard, and for some things that are within your control for what to do to turn that around. Enough preamble, let's hop in. The first way I want for you to start looking at to avoid being try hard and coming off as try hard is, first, don't copy others. It is very easy in this online space when you're consuming the content of the people that you look up to and your role models and your coach and your business mentors. It's very easy for their mannerisms, for their stories, for the things that they teach to become the thing that you're so immersed in that you're talking about it a lot. And while you might not ever intend on blatantly copying someone, it can come off like that to others when there's no part of you that's shining through and only other people's teachings and stories and body mannerisms and voice is the thing that's actually coming through. Now, that can also put you in a very hard spot because there's nothing new under the sun. And because there's no original ideas, everything is a remix on something else. Quoting Steve Jobs from a decade and a half ago. So what you need to do is what Steve Jobs did, is understand it's a remix. And what that means is, number one, always giving credit where credit is due to the people that you are borrowing those stories and sharing methods from and doing those things and doing it ethically, never stealing or copying. But also combining certain ideas, whether that is all from your niche or combining things that you are interested in and bringing them as examples for proof and to further the concepts that you are teaching. So you guys hear me talk a lot about MMA and UFC and fighting, and I watch that and I align with it so much because these people are literally fighting for their dreams every Saturday and in darkness for months leading up to these things. And I can relate with that a lot. And so I'll bring examples of fighting, of food, of maybe even professional wrestling when I was super entrenched in that when I was younger, because these were my interests. And because I can relate that to business topics, and because that's unique and authentic to me, because I've been obsessed with these things at different points in my life and currently for some of those things. And so you got to find a way to remix, to combine ideas within your niche and from outside of your niche with the concepts that you're teaching so that they become yours. And to find things that relate to what you're teaching, to tell your stories in completely new and original ways. Nothing is new under the sun on God's beautiful green earth. And so that means remixing and combining to make them yours and to also giving credit where credit is due. Do not copy others. If you want to be the person that is copied, where other people are either crediting you, maybe even going as so far as to making fun of in some way because your stories and your methods and your authenticity is the status quo, it's the opposite side of this pendulum that maybe we'll talk about one day, then head back to episode 26 of this show, where I share with you how to become the coach others copy, how to become the quoted person versus the one always quoting, how to become the person who others are telling your stories and flattering you with the most sincerest form through copying. Head back to episode 26 to get all of that. Second, you got to do the Meet the Fockers strategy and create a circle of trust. Anyone seen the movie Meet the Fockers? This is also me telling you stories and bringing things that are my own way of sharing these things, and you're welcome to borrow these analogies. Create a circle of trust. Create a circle of people around you that are comfortable telling you the truth, that are comfortable giving you feedback. And the only way that you can do this is to start with the people that are already in your life and to invite feedback. Before you go about inviting and soliciting the feedback, it is not easy to hear the truth. And because perception is reality, and because the people around you and that know you or that you're asking for it have a perception of you, because their perception is truth, then therefore whatever they share with you, you have to accept as truth to a degree. You don't have to let it affect you necessarily, but what you can't do is react. What you must do is listen to understand, Repeat what it is you're hearing so that you are hearing what's coming from them, and take time to reflect on that and then respond if necessary through your actions or through that person. Getting critical feedback is not easy, but it is how you grow. And when you have people around you that are comfortable approaching you with, when the time is right, with the truth and the things that are hard to hear, that will create a strength inside of you that you cannot create in any other method. Iron sharpens iron. And so you got to be a strong person, find strong people around you, or find a way to strengthen the people that are around you and become the kind of person they can give feedback to when it is the right time and when it's important, and be the kind of person that seeks that critical feedback so that you can grow, so that you can understand how others are perceiving you, and so that you can reflect on and then respond to them or through your actions in the world to become the sort of person that you're aspiring to be. Create a circle of trust, create an environment where people can approach you with feedback. Be the kind of person that knows how to deliver feedback. Back when I was working at Apple, they had something called friendly feedback, and there was a whole model for how you did it. And how it started was with asking the other person for permission to give them feedback, because you never know what someone is going through. And if you have fresh feedback to give someone, they might still be in the heat of the moment. They may not be in a position to accept or to hear that feedback. They may need a moment. They may have a lot of hard things going on at home, outside of work, or at some other place in their life. And so you'd always approach them with permission. And so this is a way that you can start to also make feedback an okay thing, is by approaching others when you have it and say, hey, I have some feedback that I would love to give to you when the time is right. Like, is now a good time? Use that as a way to show others that it's okay to give feedback, and to give them a way to also approach you with that sort of critical feedback. Thing number 2, create a circle of trust. Third, never buy into the idea that you have made it. Never buy into the idea that you have reached the highest possible points in your life in any area. This is akin to drinking your own Kool-Aid, so to say. This is akin to you getting high off of your own supply, so to say. And what I mean by this is, like, it's very easy to not be so good at something, to develop the skills necessary, and then all of the sudden be better than most of the people that you're around at that thing. And it's easy to lose sight of the journey it took to get there. And it's easy for others to gas you up in a way where they make it sound like you got there easily. Never buy into those things. You always have to remember the journey. You always have to remember that it's an uphill battle to get to anywhere worthy. And what you have to keep in mind is that everyone else is at their own place in their journey. Some people will never reach where you're at, and where you're at probably isn't the highest point. So have empathy for others and where they're at in their journey. Have empathy for yourself and be proud of how far you've come, but also keep in mind and keep in perspective how much more further there is always to go. With new levels come new devils. And at every step of the way, there are opportunities and situations and milestones where you will be humbled by reality. In the easiest way to have the most humbling situations happen to you, which are not fun and will cause for you to go one of 2 ways: to digress and to regress, and to have a bad situation of these happen, a bad opportunity, a bad situation, circumstance come from this, or it becomes a catapult. It becomes a slingshot for your growth, because you know how coal becomes a diamond after lots of pressure. There's a beautiful and elegant way of saying that, but a diamond is formed by being coal and a lot of pressure being applied to it. And that's a lot like how getting to anywhere worthy in business or in life also works. You learn to deal with a lot of pressure. You start out as a lump of gold, or a lump of coal. You start out as a lump of coal, and then you come out on the other side as a diamond. And it's easy for yourself to just think that you've always been a diamond, and for others to think you've always been a diamond, but never buy into the idea that you've 100% made it, because that's one of the biggest ways to limit opportunities and to start coming off as try hard and desperate. In the next episode of Client by Client, I want to talk about your pipeline, and I want to talk about creating one way for you to get high quality clients, and what components need to go into your pipeline, into your funnel, to make that happen. Whenever you are ready, here are a few ways I can help you grow your online business. First, download your free copy of GetBookedCRM. Are you still managing your leads and pipeline from Instagram DM, Facebook Messenger, and your email inbox? We are losing leads in the cracks and leaving a lot of clients and money on the table every single month. That's why I created GetBookedCRM. What started out as a free way for me to manage my pipeline and turn prospects into clients has quickly become a favorite tool of my private students and many members in the Leverage Coach community. Get leads and turn them into clients in half the time. For your free copy, just find me over on Instagram and send me the letters CRM. Second, join my free group for online coaches. I've got hundreds of coaches from all over the world and dozens of coaching niches, all implementing my strategies for starting and growing their online businesses. Get access to them, access to me, and access to free weekly trainings to help you grow yours. For your free invite now, just find me over on Instagram or wherever you're getting this show and drop me the word group. Lastly, become my next success story. I'm getting a couple coaches together this month to implement my methods and frameworks for injecting a minimum of $15K worth of new clients or doubling your online client roster base over the next 30, 60, 90 days. But working with the right people is super important to me. So only respond to this if you are a relationship-focused coach who always puts the person ahead of the money. You've been coaching for at least 6 months to a year. You'd like to get 3 to 5 clients organically from social media every single month without wasting money and time on paid ads. You have at least 300 friends on a social platform, email list, or group. You are willing to take bold action because you know that your success depends upon it. And last, but most importantly, you can keep a secret. If that's you, I want you to grab your phone right now, tap that Instagram app icon, and find me at WhatUpJeremy. Give me a follow and binge on some content while you're there. And then when you're ready, I want for you to message me the words case study. When you do that, I'll ask you a couple questions about your online business, about the vision for the next 12 months. About your vision for the next 12 months. And then I'll share with you what we have coming up this month in the Get Clients program, how we're already helping students from all over the world to implement my methods and tactics for injecting a minimum of $15K worth of new clients into your online business. And we'll also identify what part of the program will likely make the biggest impact on your business the soonest. That way you know what to expect. For all the details now, just find me over on Instagram and send me the words case study. That's it for this episode of Client by Client. See you in the next one. Cheers. All right, if you made it all the way through to the end, drop me a cactus emoji and drop me your biggest insights below. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you back tomorrow. Peace out.